We're going to be talking fashion now, fashion in Gore, which actually attracts entrants from all around New Zealand, the Hokonui Awards, and they've just taken place, and one of the judges was Steve Dunstan from Huffer, so he's on the line now. Hey Steve, how are you?
Hey.
G'day.
Hey, yeah, good, thank you.
Good, are you still in the south?
No, I got back yesterday afternoon. Just recovering from such a busy 4 nights I spent down there.
Was it 4 nights? Talk us through the process.
Well, I suppose getting down there and meeting the committee, and then having a really absolute full day of judging on Thursday, going through, I think, what was over about, I think it was 258 separate garments submitted for the awards. So, you want to take, these awards are decent, so we want to make sure we do it right. So we need to take time and go through every single garment. And there's so many different categories we have to judge. So yeah,
that is a lot, isn't it?
Awesome. Yeah. So after that, we did had a bit of time on Friday to carry the judging over, and then we had a bit of free time. We went down to Nugget Point, Kaka Point. Did a bit of touring around the Southland regions. And then into Friday night was the show. It was a seated road show, and then into Saturday we had the gala, which was a tabled event. And wow, what the energy and the people! We're talking like 800 people in a room, big production. As big as anything I've seen at New Zealand Fashion Week.
Wow. Okay.
And it was just unbelievable.
So that was your first. That was your first time at Hokonui.
Yeah, Hokonui. Yeah, I've been through Gore, but to spend 4 days down there and to get to know the people, and I was honoured to be in a position to actually judge the awards with some other great judges. We had Juliet Hogan, the girls from 27 Names. Catherine Wilson came down. She was the MC.
Great.
So some other great people in the industry there. So
so good. I've heard great things about this, and I can only talk, from what I've read. But now you've experienced it, I suppose you'll be taking all your good memories back to the big smoke, to Auckland, and letting people know that Gore is not a backwater when it comes to fashion and supporting such a great event.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I mean, it's come out of some great people in Gore, and it's a national event. There's designers from all around the country that submit the designs to these awards that are just held in Gore, and it's mind blowing. I didn't know that much about it, and but now seeing what the platform that's being created is amazing opportunity for designers, and a great platform for them to step from and get the experience of having the designs put through a judging process and then also onto a catwalk. It's good for the industry and upcoming designers.
Oh yeah, totally. Now let's talk about the overall winner. She's a student at AUT in Auckland. It's Chaula, I think it is, Chaula, and she won this award, which she said was inspired by nature. What did I guess you saw so many things, but I'll just describe it. So she sort of had black and white cotton mixed designs, and what took you, what impressed you so much about her work?
Well, I suppose, there's so many factors, and I suppose being in business for 25 years, understanding, although what she designed is not necessarily our brand, but just understanding, from the creative idea, the commercial viability is an important part of it, the execution of how it's put together, and then mixed with the narrative. Storytelling is such a big part of, brands and labels, and for consumers to be able to really, understand the values of the designer and the story behind it, what it represents, because it's really creative expression, and you want people to be able to understand what that is, and if you're going to be wearing the product, you want to know what it stands for. So
true.
She really took we didn't know who the designers were behind this, so it was kind of cool to see her get the award on the night, and just the emotion involved, all the hard work that's come together. So it was, to answer it, I suppose, really well-rounded on all fronts.
Yeah, nice. Actually, in looking at it, looking at the photographs, so there's a couple of girls standing with her as she's accepting a bouquet of flowers, and next to her is a young man in a dress, pretty much, isn't it? You know the picture I'm talking about? Yeah, the long...
Yes, I do, yeah.
Kind of romantic-looking style, isn't it, really?
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's a mix of traditional with contemporary, I think. Look at how it photographs. It's got, it looks good in the imagery. I know the listeners can't really see that, but I'm sure.
I know, it's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. So this was great. She felt that it would really take her forward in her career. And of course it will. And this is the thing. And I also think what is so great is, the reason I want to push this too is because I think the South is so often forgotten, but there are many important things happening here. Of course, we have Dunedin ID, the railway show, which is brilliant. But to have this Hokonui event as well, and let's face it, I mean, there's been some big names judging in the past, and so they're aware of the type of. And the great thing is that it truly is a national event. You're obviously getting people from all over the place. So there was the winner of the Gore District Council Award. Was from Martin in the North Island. Yeah, and that's just great. I mean, also though, I mean, there's so many entrants, but I was blown away with the amount of local entries as well. And the school category, like we're talking, high school, like unbelievable, like mind blowing. Really?
The talent. Oh my gosh, yeah, the school was a real standout. All the school categories that were just.
Oh, the thing that really struck me was the sorry to interrupt, the design, the avant-garde award was just bizarre with the boy in the space helmet and the.
That was so cool.
What is that about?
So cool.
It was amazing. Can you describe that better than me? I'm trying to. Did he actually have flora and fauna in the circle that he's holding on to around his waist?
Around his waist with straps connected to, like a medieval-looking type garment that was on straps, and a helmet that had pipes connected to the plants that were feeding the oxygen to him, which was that was so creative.
It's out there,
awesome. And that's avant-garde. That's what it's all about. Like push it to the limits, and that was extremely cool.
It's pretty out there and probably unexpected in Gore.
Yeah. And Gore, well, that's the thing. Yeah, I think I think it's 35, 36 years of the Hokonui. So there's so much room for it to continue and grow as well. It's it's wow. You got to get to Gore. So fun.
Well, in a way, it's something that I think perhaps they could market a bit better too. I think perhaps open up people's eyes to what kind of event this is, because I know the tickets sell quickly, but I wonder if they have enough accommodation to cope with people if they want to get there. But so for you, tell us about the process of judging. So you've got all these articles now. Do you actually sort of physically sort of handle them, or do you actually watch models show you them and then you stop and have a look at how they're constructed, or how does it all work?
Yeah, so I think X Factor. So we're on a judging table, and the model will come out with the garment and come and approach our table. So we get to see the garment on model, in motion, and then we can stand up and examine, in great detail, the outfit, and we get to see it on, and we've got to, work collaboratively with other designers and cut it down to a short list, and then we have a winner, a runner-up, and highly commended and special merit. So there was lots of celebrations and lots of categories, and just so much to take in. It was kind of overwhelming in a good way.
Okay, well that's great. And did you see, what about in terms of the street room? And obviously Huffer has a particular look and image. There would have been categories that would have been quite perhaps produced some quite Huffer-like styles. Were there?
Yeah. There was a streetwear category, and there was also a menswear category, and within it there was definitely the streetwear category was really interesting. It was quite creative, I thought, and which was awesome. They pushed the boat out a bit, which was great because I think for for competition, it's good to shine and show how far you can push it. But yeah, it was good to see, and it actually, we're a long-standing brand and hope to continue to be, and we employ many people, and it's good to see the pool of talent that's in generation that's coming through. It's encouraging, I mean, and also on top of that, some people could even create their own labels and businesses and employ other people. So really encouraging to see.
Exactly.
Sorry, I'm just parking my car.
I thought you were driving.
I am in my car. All good.
I love it.
Yeah, so that was cool. Yeah.
Well, they've been going for more than 30 years. What about... Carry on, Steve.
Yeah. Oh, no, I was just... Yeah, no, you go. Sorry.
How young are we talking here? What kind of ages are some of these designers?
Well, actually, within the awards in the showcase, they actually had intermediate students, who created their own garments and modelled it, and came down the catwalk as a performance with dance. They weren't actually in the awards, but gee, wow! From that age group right through to the more mature, I'm not sure that exact age, but at least 50s. So. There was the Young Designer Awards and stuff, but it was a mix of everyone. It was great,
And I mean, I imagine, some of these items, these garments, they're going to take months and months to actually create, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of hard work behind all that. Some people, they're making the garments themselves. And some like the upcycling. Just unbelievable amounts of work and talent put into it. So, it's a great opportunity to have something, in awards, even if you don't necessarily win, but to go through that process and, have a challenge like that, you're still winning by not winning. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
because
totally.
You're learning that process.
Of course. So being a part of that is a great step in your career. And where you want to get to, and there really is kind of no limit. And I think what's heartening too is we always had that cultural cringe where we felt that New Zealand couldn't really produce world class fashion, but that's pretty much paid by this sort of work, isn't it? Yeah. And the interesting thing to see, I suppose, where. Once it was revealed where some of these winners were coming from, around the country, and a strong presence locally as well in Gore. But, just seeing that, the barriers are breaking down, you used to have to travel to Europe to see what was going on, or the US, or wherever you want to get inspiration from. But now it's so much more accessible that, in a great way, that, you're not held back by, maybe living in Gore, where you can actually, information is obviously in the digital age, giving the opportunity for people to come out of the woodwork from anywhere, which is a great thing. That's right. So I guess if young designers are listening, the whole thing is get set for next year and perhaps start creating, because it'll roll around pretty fast and they'll be asking for entries, and a good thing to get involved with. I suppose it's a confidence thing in fashion, isn't it, Steve? Did you find that with Huffer? It's like, when you were first conceiving the whole brand and you must have gone, right, I've got this idea, I know it's going to work, but I hope people love this like I love it. There must be that, you must have to have that faith in yourself, mustn't you?
Yeah, no, I think that's probably one of the hardest things. You're putting yourself out there to, in this case, in the Hokonui, to be judged. And that's, having that creativity out there for people to say, hey, this is good or not, or putting your own product out there and hoping for success. It's tough. You want to be accepted, and it's definitely one of the biggest challenges, just to get over that hurdle and actually put it out there. Because a lot of people can hold back, sure.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, but you don't know until you try. So you do need to somehow get over that and like believe in yourself and push through and have a presentation, because you don't know until you actually do that, and then you can only learn from it as well.
That's right. And you know, if you feel like, I guess there's a little failure or something hasn't worked, just rejig it and do it again until you get it right.
Yeah, progression. You know, you got to make mistakes to move forward. You know, and it's just your attitude and taking criticism or sort of processing your mistakes and using that and turning it into positive energy to continue to drive forward and progress. And that's the key. Key to life.
That's right. I've got to ask you. You know, you're a mountain man. That's where the label was born. Have you had a chance to get up and enjoy some of that snow?
Oh my gosh, yes. We celebrating 25 years recently. We re-released a range based off our first range, which was snowboard waterproof breathable outerwear. But we launched it. We celebrated and had an event up at Cadrona. We had a deck party up there, and got a whole bunch of people together. We sponsored an event, and I was down there. But I'm coming down this week. I'm coming back.
Fantastic. Good.
Yeah, it's been hard over COVID. Like, after starting Huffer, I was traveling to the Northern Hemisphere and having back-to-back winters, and then like the past 2 years with COVID, I've sort of been out of whack. I've only done a handful of. I missed a winter, the first winter in 30 years. In 2020. And then last year I got down there, but I only did one half day. So this year, this is it. I'm coming back.
Coming back to enjoy and actually play in the snow. Yeah.
Yeah, well, you guys are having a great season, right? There's like an amazing base. And
amazing.
Yeah,
it is.
I look forward to getting down there.
You're going to love it
soon.
And also spring is nice, eh? It's a good time to, August is quite a nice month for that, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's better, yeah. Like the sun's a bit higher, there's a bit of warmth, and it still snows, and it's just, what a great time. But you're getting me excited. I want to get to the south.
I know. And tell me, Steve, one last question. So in terms of, I suppose you're thinking towards spring and summer now in terms of Huffer. Anything, like, are you getting some new T-shirts in development, or what are you what's the vibe you're thinking for summer this year in terms of your brand?
Yeah, well, we start rolling out in the modern age. We do monthly drops, and they're based around the seasons and the climate, I suppose. We have some great stuff dropping from here all the way through to Christmas, really. Capsules and product dropping. But I mean, like with Huffer, we instead of just basic T-shirts, we have been outerwear focused. How do we translate outerwear to and that knowledge of technical ability into streetwear and fashion? So that's probably what you'll see for summer. Like slightly and lightly technical orientated products that have great style, and then good storytelling and that functionality to go with.
That's right.
And not forgetting the slightly more feminine side as well. And we've got dresses, and the width of product we've got is there's a lot going on.
Actually, you're right about the old dress thing. I noticed that with Huffer, you're evolving quite a lot, and there's much more of a feminine edge. And you wouldn't ordinarily expect to go into a Huffer store and find a dress, but you can.
Well, I mean, since the early days, I mean, we did predominantly start with male product, and then we did start making women's product in, I think, 2000, and that always have. But what's really emerging is this genderless product, which is great. I think over the next few years, there's going to be a category exactly that. We're going to have dresses, and we'll have what you'd traditionally call male and female product, but there's definitely a grey area in the middle where there's no gender specific for the garment. And I think for our brand, we can, that's an area that translates for us really well.
I've got to ask you then, Brad Pitt recently, oh my God, he wore a skirt, I think, did you see that shot of him on a red carpet? Was it Cannes?
No.
I'm not sure.
No.
He looked amazing. Like, I really liked that look.
That's cool.
Yeah, and so I think more blokes should get into that, definitely.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, it's great, the openness and, like, being able to, that should be normal, like, there's no rules. Like, why should you be judged for what you wear and what could be traditionally women's wear or men's wear, like, just wear what you want, express yourself, and it's cool.
Absolutely.
Don't judge,
Yeah.
So I'm going to check it out. I'm sure it does look cool.
It looked really good.
More people should do that if they want to wear that.
I agree. I mean, look
because that's
Keith Richards. Keith Richard, I should say, without the S.
Yeah.
He used to wear his girlfriend's clothes all the time when he was a young man in the Stones, and lots of lovely kind of silk scarves and very feminine stuff, and it really looked great, and I kind of miss those days.
And like, he's a person. Exactly, and I think why be traditional and like get stuck in a box when you can, like. Traditional menswear is like, the template's pretty set, like if it's suiting, it's trousers and a blazer, and then if it's casual clothing, it's shorts and t-shirts. But why can't we have a bit of fun with it, like mix it all up and different fabrications and silhouettes, and it should be the normal.
Oh,
and I think it will be.
If
you watch over the next 20 years, it's going to be really interesting. I think it's cool.
Yeah, well, that's right. And I imagine that you'll be leading the way in some of those changes and innovations too. But I think New Zealand men are much more adventurous than they used to be, and that's a good thing. But look at the photo of Brad and tell me what you think when you get a chance.
I'll check it out. Sure, I can't wait.
Yeah, Brad. He's getting on. He's getting long in the tooth, but he's still. I thought it's the best he'd looked in ages, actually, because there was some criticism. He did a cover recently, I think it might have been Vanity Fair, and someone said he looked like a waxwork, which is very cruel. And I thought, oh no, that's a shame about poor old Brad, because he always was the pin-up boy a few years ago. But no, it was interesting that a guy of his age chose to, what is he, late 50s? He must be nearly 60, and he chose to wear this this skirt and. Yeah, there you go. But hey, well, always a pleasure talking, Steve. I should let you go. Where are you? You're busy out and about in your car.
Oh no, I've just had an Australian customer over here, and I just took them out to Piha Beach, and then I dropped them at the airport, and I'm back at work.
Fabulous! I heard it's a lovely day in Auckland.
Yeah, it is lovely. Spring's in the air.
Oh,
August is not spring, is it? Was it September? I don't know. But it feels like spring.
It's nearly spring. We'll take it. I think definitely it's nearly spring.
I saw lambs down south, so that's.
Terrific! Yeah, daffodils are growing. No, and hey, enjoy your trip south, and hope you enjoy getting amongst that good snowpack as well.
Yeah, cheers. Nice to talk to you, and thanks.
Thanks so much, Steve. Lovely. Great, enjoyed it. Steve Dunstan from Huffer, he's just at Gore at Hokonui Fashion Awards. He was a judge, and he was blown away by the breadth of talent. And I'm going to book some tickets to go there next year, so I can see for myself just what everyone's going on about. These awards have been going since 1988, so let's salute Gore today on the show, shall we? Well done, Gore. Good stuff.